said, this section here has more projects than any other section of the Bronx. How is it that this is not known of on hip hop as big as this section is?
So why do you think that is?
Because Mario is not alive.
If Mario was alive, what would happen?
Come on, man. If Mario was alive, and again, this is not to cause frictions amongst our brothers. Mario is more like a vocal person. Mario would have, without unquestioned, hands down, would have been one of the founding fathers of hip hop. They wouldn't just say the only three names. Mario would be one of the intricate parts. But you know, as you get older and things happen and you're not here to be able to pass away, sometimes people are not here to be able to keep the legacy alive.
So he would definitely be one of the founding fathers.
Of course, no doubt about it. And it's like any of these guys, if you mention Kool, you mention Bam, you mention Flash, they all know who Mario is. And they know the role that he played. None of them could never say, or they wouldn't say, I never heard of Mario.
So you say Mario was a major figure?
He was a major figure. Okay, he's a major figure.
Do you remember when disco, because I'm trying to also, because they called Mario the Disco King. When he was 15, was it disco out even then? In 1970?
It wasn't Disco King back then.
It wasn't disco, it was just Mario.
Yeah. Right. And then all of a sudden, I guess they named it Disco King Mario.
Disco King Mario. He wasn't Disco King Mario when he came out.
Okay.
He was just Mario.
Just Mario, okay.
He wasn't Disco King Mario. He was just Mario.
Right.
Disco King later came later.
A little handy never hurt nobody. Why y'all all that party bar? Get 2 cups and let's drink somebody. Let's drink somebody. Let's drink somebody. Let's drink somebody. Drink it up, somebody.
Name Mario Disco King. Tell me about that story. Where did Mario, you say Mario, got that nickname from?
All right. Before Mario got with me, I had another MC. His name was JJ, the man with the golden voice. JJ, the Disco King.
Wow.
And anybody tell you that they never heard about the guy with the golden voice? That was JJ. That's
JJ.
what he said. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how he used to say.
What he used to say?
I'm JJ, the man with the golden voice. He had a deep voice, sound like kind of like Frankie Crocker.
It's the Frankie Crocker Show.
Suck it to me, mama. Good evening, New York. This is the show that's bound to put more dips in your hips, more cut in your strut, and more glide in your stride. If you don't dig it, you know you've got a hole in your soul. Tall, tan, young, and fly. Anytime you want me, baby, reach out for me. I'm your guy. Just as good to you as it is for you. You get so much with the Frankie Crocker touch. After all, how could you lose with the stuff I use? Tall and tender for the feminine gender. Anytime you want me, you got it. You know they call me wax paper because I rap on anything. Call me aluminum foil because my rap is so strong.
He had a deep voice, sound like kind of like Frankie Crocker.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. That's the way they was doing then. They was talking on the mic. Yeah. So Mario used to be an awe at JJ. He loved the way he talked.
Oh yeah?
He loved the way he used to look at him. You know. So after a while, Mario started grabbing the mic and saying things like, "Yeah, get it, girl, get, shake, yeah." You know, little things. Then he put the mic down.
Right.
Come back again, pick up the mic, and da. And then he started saying, "This is Mario, the Disco King." Everybody looked at him and said, the first time he said it and shit. And looked at JJ, but JJ was a lover. He wasn't a fighter. So, you know, he'll get mad at you and then he didn't want, you know, he looked at Mario, he didn't like it. So he said, you know something, yo, he can't be using my name. Like, you know, I'm gonna go rap with PTJ Jones. So he started rapping with PTJ Jones at that point and shit. And and then Mario kept on, Mario the Disco King. So Mario wanted something, he took it. So he took it.
He took it.
Yeah, he took it. Yeah.
And JJ just went away.
JJ just went away, yeah.
Now wait, this instant you talking about this was in the project? Where was this at?
First section in that little park over there.
So this is in the middle of the project.
Bronxdale, yeah.
On the basketball court maybe? Do you know?
It's that little section over there.
Okay,
it's
right.
a basketball court
Right.
now, but it wasn't a basketball court when we was there before.
But it was in the projects that all of this happened. So
Yeah.
you brought JJ over here. Where was JJ from?
JJ was with us all the
JJ
time.
with us all the time.
Right.
He was in my division.
Oh, he was a spade.
Yeah, it was a spade. Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Okay, so he was like from Watson up where y'all was at?
He was watching an Evergreen. Yeah.
Wow.
And I was watching an Elder.
And he was a teenager.
Yeah, teenager. Everybody.
And so he started with you too, or he already was MCing or
No, he
DJing?
started with us.
Started with us.
And he called himself the Disco King.
Yeah.
And y'all brought him in the middle of the projects.
Yeah, because
And
he had befriended KC, the Prince of Soul.
Okay.
KC was one of the first MCs that started talking with PTJ Jones.
Okay.
And so JJ made himself JJ, but we used to call him JoJo. But
Okay.
he said JJ, the Disco King, the man with the golden voice.
Wow.
Yeah,
So Mario just took his name, like Bogart his name. Was JJ,
Give me that.
give me that, he Bogart his name. Was JJ scared of him maybe?
it's safe to say, yeah, he was.
He was a little scared of him?
I told you, JJ's not a fighter. He's a lover.
He's a lover, but he was a spade, right?
Yeah, he wasn't a fighter. He wasn't a fight like. He'll shoot you, but you
Oh,
know,
he'll shoot.
he ain't gonna get
Oh, yeah?
down there with the hands. He ain't gonna do that. He ain't gonna do no hand shit. Yeah.
Wow. So he didn't really want that conflict with Mario. He took the name. But you know, like I say, I think that name kind of maybe hurt Mario in the long run because Disco King, I think for years, people who really didn't know any better, they associated Mario with disco. Saying Disco King. And I think that's why he's been kept out of hip hop history a lot. Because people who don't know, they just say, oh, he was disco guy.
Dude, you know, next time I get together, maybe I can show you on the turn. But most of the break beats was from disco, like I Can't Stop. That was a hustle record.
Right.
I Can't Stop.
Disco was big back then.
Disco was it was big, yeah. It was big. People was going to clubs,
Disco was
hustling.
the thing to do.
Right.
Thing to do.
Everybody was playing the same thing.
Right.
And then, you know, it just transpired into using the break beats off the disco records to create the hip hop, you know, segments.
Right.
And for the B-boys.
Right.
You know? That's what it was.
Boys couldn't hustle. They couldn't. So, you know.
There was no hip hop music
At
at
the
that
time,
time.
I couldn't hustle. I couldn't hustle and shit.
I hustled
So
my ass off.
when hustle went away, I was happy as a motherfucker.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I can read that right there. But I was happy because you know I couldn't hustle. I wanted to be freestyle.
They wanted to cut my legs off.
Oh, yeah? It was strong black men though into that shit, the disco thing though, right? I mean,
Yeah,
dudes
dude.
are strong, like you said. It was the thing to do.
Yo, but hold
Dudes are strong, and these dudes was in the disco.
When you talk about in the hood disco, it's
Right.
not the same
Oh, right,
as
right.
the ones you see on Studio 54 when
Right.
you see the documentary.
Right.
No, we ain't dancing that shit.
Right.
Yo, our disco was like little. It had funk. We had funk.
Right.
We had a little rock in it.
The freak? Yeah.
You know, and soulful music. It was soulful shit that we
Right.
was doing and shit. It was, if you would think, when you say disco, you think of all that da 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 da. No,
Yeah.
it wasn't all that.
See, when mainstream defines disco, when I say mainstream, white culture,
Okay.
when they define disco, they define it as Studio 54, Xenons, place like that. where we weren't going to be. All right? And they played disco song, but they played some other stuff, disco song, that is disco, that really wasn't popular in black clubs, black disco.
Even when we hustle, even when the guys hustle here, it was harder than the hustle looked there. You understand?
It wasn't that John Travolta stuff.
Yeah,
Right,
You understand?
right.
It was completely different. It's different.
Yeah. And really, what I think happened was, as far as how it transitioned to hip hop, I think basically because y'all brought it in the project, like Mario, I think what he was trying to do was bring the disco where he brought it in the projects. He brought the disco in the middle of the project. Did he have the street lights at that time? No, yeah.
No.
He didn't have street
He
lights.
got the street lights like in 77 when he got his system.
Yeah. Because like disco had the strobe lights, and he brought the traffic lights in the middle of the projects.
Yeah.
You know, putting on music.
Right.
And that in itself, I think, is hip hop. I think that's ill. How you try to bring the disco in the middle of the projects, and that's like hip hop in itself. You know what I'm saying? So JJ, the Disco King, he just easily got with PJ Jones, just like that.
Yeah, good voice, man.
Yeah.
Very good voice. Yeah.
JJ is very professional. You heard him, you think he was a DJ right off the radio. He's very professional.
Now he was saying little things like that, like the golden voice, right? Now tell me about Frankie Crocker or whatever DJ, PJ Jones. Was they giving shout outs? Tell me about that. How was the shout out? What was the difference between them on the mic and y'all on the mic, Mario on the mic? What was the difference? Was it a difference? Or was it the same thing? Was y'all trying to imitate them? What was it?
Well, we was trying to imitate them to a point, but then we had our differences. When they did a shout out like PTJ Jones, somebody famous was coming to the building. Like say Pete was giving a party, and you have like a hustler like Nicky Barnes in there. Oh yeah, Nicky Barnes getting a shout out. Yo, Nicky's in the house. Nicky Barnes, he's getting a shout out.
Right. You had to be big.
Yeah, you had to be big. Right.
Right.
You had to be big. Tiny Woods, those guys get the shout outs. But over here in the hood, well, where we was, like Mario, for instance, like if Mario had love for you and saw you in the crowd, you're a regular person, a common person, a hood guy. Mario, yo, we got Shooky over here. Yo, what's up, man?
Yeah.
Shooky's over here in the house. We got Sharon over here. To the common person, and that would make him feel good. So
he would say in the house back then. He would say in the house.
I remember Mario saying in the house.
Yeah,
in the house.
Chuck City.
Chuck City.
That was his thing.
That was him all the way.
And Snaking.
Snaking, yeah.
Snaking.
That's what he used to do, snake it. Yeah.
Make his body go like this. He used to do that all the time. And then he'd stop and shake it. And all the change in his pocket, you can hear it.
Oh yeah?
Right?
Yeah.
All the quarters, dimes, and nickels, you can hear them shaking.
Wow.
Mario was something else, man.
Yeah?
Yeah. But that was to get the crowd hype.
Right.
So many people. It was hot.
Right.
It wasn't that the music was dying them out. The heat was. The heat was kicking ass. You gotta realize this park was crowded, man. On a regular.
Right.
When we played out here, people from Monroe, Soundview, Castle Hill, Lafayette, they all come through here, man.
Right. So at one time, D, it was just you or y'all and Herc out, right? It wasn't no other DJs.
Yeah, it was me, Herc. There was no Flash. There was no Bambata. It was just all before they had this stuff. I mean, it was like a couple years we was out before somebody else came out. Like you hear of a Flash or Bambata. Yeah. It was just sound was just me and Herc. Yeah. Herc was on the west side, I was on this side.
Anything else you want to say?
Yeah, the Kool deep been everywhere. We played all over. Valley.
Valley.
Boston, Castle Hill. Soundview, Bronx, Monroe.
Mario was real slim. Right. And he had a round face and he was real skinny. Right. Like this. Right. And Mario
Would you